Kirsty Johansson. Welcome to our first MadCAP Chat. Today you'll just be seeing me, but in future chats you'll be seeing all sorts of experts in the field of musical theater. We'll be answering your questions and doing our best to help you out with a variety of musical theater related things. I am the artistic director here at MadCAP, Madison Creative Arts Program. We are a School of the Arts in downtown Madison. And this past summer, when I was meeting with our teenagers, we were talking about different things that might be useful as online tools. And one of the things that came up was to be preparing a series of kind of online instruction, short little bits of information that are helpful. And one of the topics was really preparing for your auditions, both preparing yourself, preparing your pieces that you'll be singing and performing, and also preparing the scores. So today we're going to talk about preparing score for musical theater. I've been artistic director here at MadCAP for over 10 years, and I've been teaching for over 15 years, and I've been accompanying for over 20 years. I also am an adjudicator with the Wisconsin Music Educators Association, WMEA, where I do solo and ensemble festivals as a musical theater specialist, both at the district and at the state level. So I see my fair share of musical theater performances, and as a rehearsal accompanist, I've seen my fair share of kind of poorly prepared scores. So in order to get the best possible audition, you need to make sure that your rehearsal accompanist is as ready as can be. So the first thing you'll need to do is make sure you bring your music in a binder. As a rehearsal accompanist, there is nothing worse than receiving a stack of ratty sheet music and being expected to somehow make it stay on your piano while you're trying to sight read it and have it be all crossed out and scribbled because you got different cuts from different auditions that you've done. So print out a clean copy. Obviously for solo and ensemble festival, your judge's copy needs to be the original book. It's better for auditions if your accompanist copy is a photocopy. That way you can mark it specifically for that audition and that cut. Now, I both love office supplies, but also like to make sure I reuse things, so I tend to mark my things in Post-it. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples really quick. Just adjust this here a little bit. All right, so my first example is from Hanging Around With You, which actually I can't remember the composer or show because I'm not looking at it right now, sorry. But I've got my cut already. It's the last 2 pages. So you'll want to make sure that when you bring this to your accompanist, you set it on their piano, open to the place where you need it to be. I've got a Post-it here to indicate my start. Oh, there we go. And I also have a Post-it to indicate my stop. See if I can get in there. There we go. So that one's very straightforward. There's no jumps. It's just very easy. So you'll want to make sure that you tell your accompanist where you're starting, where you're stopping, and give them your tempo. That way they will be sure that they're giving you the appropriate tempo and supporting you in what you are doing. Because any rehearsal accompanist and accompanist I've ever spoken to, the good ones want the soloist to succeed. We're really not trying to sabotage you. We really want you to succeed. So the better you can prepare that for your accompanist, the better and the happier everyone will be. Now I have another cut here, and there's a couple of sort of kind of complicated things that are going to be happening in this one. This is a cut from If You Weren't, If You Didn't, Hadn't, If You Didn't, If You Hadn't But You Did. It's got all those words in it. It's Comden and Green, Julie Stein, and it's from Two on the Aisle. Okay, so I've got the full sheet in here, but actually what we're going to be doing is we're starting a little ways in. So I've got my start indicated there. I really like these transparent flags because you can write on them in permanent marker in Sharpie. It's very clear, it's easy to see, it's kind of like highlighting, but it's completely removable. So you can take everything off and have a clean copy if you wanted to do a different cut. I've indicated here that I'm going to be taking a cut, and I've used a Post-it to cover up that entire measure because that tells me that absolutely, even if I forget what the soloist has just told me 2 seconds ago, I've got that Post-it there reminding me, and don't play that, just skip ahead. And then I've put my Post-it flag here with the marker indicating that that's where I'm cutting to. Now, if you look real closely, you will see that we're cutting to a measure that is in the key of F minor. It's an F minor chord. If I were to move that post-it just a little bit, you would see that that post-it was covering up an F minor chord. It's really important to make sure that the accompaniment is going to make sense musically and with its chord structure. So if that's not happening with the cut that you've chosen, if you've chosen a lyric cut, make sure that you find a piano player to help you out so that you can hear how it sounds and really get a sense of the structure, because nothing is more off-putting than being in the middle of an audition and suddenly hearing harmonies you've never heard before. So make sure that you prepare that ahead of time and know what it sounds like and that it makes sense tonally. There are other options. I could have put it on a chord, on a measure that has a C minor chord. Like for example, if you go to the next page, this is a pretty long cut, you probably want a shorter one. If you go to the next page, you'll see that there is a phrase that lyrically and melodically is the same, but it's on a C minor chord. That does work harmonically. So as you're playing it, if I did that cut, it would also work. So both of those are fine. It would not work to jump in the middle of one of the phrases where I have a C minor 7 or a G7 chord, because it's a different point in the phrase and it's just not going to make a whole lot of sense. So it's important to make sure that you hear it ahead of time and ask a friend or teacher to play it for you a couple of times so that you get a chance to hear it. Always a good idea also to bring along, if you have an iPod Touch or a phone, or something on your computer, if you have a laptop recording program, then you can record what your friend is doing or your teacher so that you can hear it over and over again and go back and reference that if you need to. Now the last thing I was going to note is that at the very end here, of course, we have our finish, we have our end marked, but you'll note that we have a first and second ending here. So you probably are going to want to make a choice there. In my initial version of the cut, I had indicated that I wanted it to go to the second ending. So I actually put a little post-it there with the mark that says go to the second ending. And then I have one of these highlighter clear post-it tabs, and I have it just pointing to the start of the second ending there. This is not to in any way indicate that rehearsal accompanists can't follow music without these things, but a rehearsal accompanist, especially in auditions, is going to be seeing hundreds of scores, and they're going to be seeing many people. So make it as easy as possible by being organized and professional and having everything ready to go for that professional accompanist. And I guarantee it's going to feel a lot more comfortable for you as the soloist auditioning. It's going to be easier for them, and it will make an impression on the panel that's auditioning you as well, because they will see that you are coming, you're bringing your A game, you've got things organized, which means you'll probably be organized in rehearsal, and you also have prepared a cut in a way that is easy for the other musicians to read and see, and you've prepared it thoughtfully and you've done your homework, so it's ready to go. So good luck with your auditioning. Next time we're hopefully going to be having some guests. If you have any questions or things you'd like us to address, please email admin@madcap.org or leave us a note on our Facebook page, MadCAP School of the Arts. And you can also check out our Tumblr blog, MadCAP School of the Arts. And we tend to reblog and post a lot of great interviews about auditioning and interviews with various contemporary musical theater composers, and some great song clips and ideas for